Always trust.
We ask the questions.
What is needed in the world?
This weekend, elections in Turkey. Millions of people go to the polls to elect a president and a new parliament. It's the first time since the referendum last year, when the people approved a new constitution giving more power to the presidency. Today on Talk to Al Jazeera, we discuss what President Erdogan hopes to achieve if he wins a new term, in a conversation with a spokesperson. But first, another contender for the presidency, the leader of the Saadet Party. He says President Erdogan is not doing enough to unite the Muslim world abroad and is moving the country to a dictatorship at home.
Mr. Temel Karamollaoglu, thank you very much for talking to Al Jazeera.
Thank you very much.
Traditionally, you and your party have been allied with President Erdogan and the AKP. What is it that's made you peel away from this alliance in these upcoming elections?
Well, we did not peel away from them. They peeled away. They left us. They left the principles of Erdogan and started a new course for themselves. The principles are completely different. We give a lot of importance, for example, to ethical values. And secondly, we give a lot of importance to economical and technological development. And thirdly, we have a different dignified foreign policy, what we call, and we try to establish an Islamic Union as well. Now, they have left all of these goals. They said that, no, we are going to join European Union. European Union is our ideal setup, and their values is important for us. And secondly, they accepted the United States and Israel as their strategic partners. And thirdly, they decided to adopt the capitalist system wholly without thinking about the actual development of technology and industry in our country.
So you say there is no common ground between you and the AK party, but you are now in collaboration with the CHP for the parliamentary elections. What is there, where is the common ground between you and the CHP?
First, we have decided to come to pass the threshold. Secondly, the new system, presidential system, is going to lead Turkey to a dictatorship. There is no doubt, because the parliament has no influence on the president. They can't control, they can't produce any values which will be effective. So the president, in fact, will decide whatever he thinks proper without consulting the parliament. This is the basic thing. I mean, in a country, if you want peace.
But the people chose a presidential system. This isn't a system that's been imposed on the Turkish people. There was a referendum, it was free and fair.
Yes.
The people chose it.
No, it was not free and fair. First, let us decide on that. Even if
I mean, according to observers, it was free and fair.
No. Well, you can. Well, we did not say anything oppose whatever the public have chosen. But the point is that public can make mistake as well. It will be too late when they realize what the dangers are there and what they will face.
Okay, so the shared common ground between you and the CHP is that you believe that
separation of power.
Separation of power.
And the government should not have any influence on justice, on the courts.
Okay.
Today, the government directly controls and gives, in fact, orders to the courts.
To the
You
judiciary.
can't have justice in a world like this.
I want to ask you about some of the other policies, because although a lot of the discussion in these presidential elections has been about separation of power, has been about the dangers that many of the opposition parties believe the presidential system poses, you have, for example, the candidate of the CHP, Muharrem İnce. He's vowed to send back all Syrian refugees within 100 days. He's promised to appoint a Turkish ambassador to Syria, whose government has killed hundreds of thousands of people, including Turkmen. Are these policies that you believe are shared common ground between the Saadet Party and the CHP?
No, we are not in a coalition. They have a different agenda. We have a different agenda. The only common ground is on the separation of powers. On the other agenda, we don't share.
So a marriage
our
of
view.
convenience.
Yes, well, that's true. When it comes to Syria, well, from the beginning, I can say that the Turkish AKP government has a foreign policy which does not have a stable goal. They have always supported the American policies. They have always given importance to, unfortunately, to Israeli policies, Zionist policies as well. Seemingly, they are very brave, and they can criticize Israel in every field. They can accuse them as being a terrorist state. But the decisions they have taken, and the Turkish relationship with Israel improved tremendously.
I mean, right now it's not improved. You're talking about the past few years. There's been very difficult situation. It was only recently that the ambassadors were returned.
Let me tell you one thing. I believe in the trade agreements. Our trade has increased tenfold with Israel. And the pilot who are bombing Gaza is trained in Turkey.
So
this is an important issue. No one takes notice of this. Israeli planes who are bombing Gaza are trained in Turkey. Can anyone grasp what this means?
It's a very difficult concept to grasp, because what a lot of people see is the Turkish aid that goes to Gaza. They see the statements made by Erdogan, for example, when the US declared Jerusalem occupied, illegally occupied Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So how do you justify this? How do you explain it?
Let's analyze all the points that you put forward. One, helping the Gaza Strip. Is blockade there? Yes. Still, the blockade is continuing. Gaza is an open-air prison. Did the Turkish government do anything?
I mean, there's...
No. I mean, we can put forward a lot of questions, but I am asking very clear questions. Those pilots who are bombing Gaza are trained in Turkey. Blockade is still there. What else? What excuse? Our trade with Israel is improved. We are giving full support. When it comes to Jerusalem, I mean, such a misleading attitude is put forward in this case, that what the Islamic organization, the
OIC.
Muslim countries, OIC, came together, the decision they have taken, what did they say? 16% of Jerusalem belongs to Palestine.
East Jerusalem.
From the other side, what it means that 84% belongs to Israel. No one takes notice of this. And of course, they can't do anything, but the Palestinians are thankful because this issue was carried to the United Nations. To what effect? Nothing. Just a criticism.
So you believe it's just propaganda from...
Just a propaganda. That is nothing else. All the policies. Americans destroyed Iraq. For what reason? Because they accused that Saddam had nuclear weapons. At the end, they could not find any. They said, we apologize, it was wrong. 1.5 million Muslims were massacred in Iraq. Who's responsible? Isn't the policies of the Turkish government has any responsibility in this?
So you're saying that under Erdogan and the AK Party, they have become closer to the United States, closer to Israel, and they want to join the European Union. If you were in power, who would your allies be? What alliances would you build internationally?
Exactly. Now, first, whether some people say that, well, what happens if you bring the weak countries together? But still, we believe the unity of the Muslim countries. We have first the 8. These are the countries who have larger populations.
But sorry to interrupt here. You have Muslim countries that are actively working against Turkey.
Yes,
you have the United Arab Emirates, you have Saudi, you have Egypt, you have countries that actively are working to damage Turkey.
I know. This happened in the past as well. Only if there is a mind which is determined to correct the mistakes that the countries are making. You have to hug them. You have to bring them to a table and discuss the matters, what the mistakes they are making. You must show them that the decisions they are taking are wrong. But this is not achieved by quarreling with them, fighting with them, going to war with them. The Muslim world is burning all over. I mean, we have to see what is happening. We have to try to bring them together so that we shall solve our problems ourselves. If the Americans or the Europeans or Israel interfere, we will not be able to come together. They don't want us to come together. This is a will that we have to put into effect.
To be fair, in the past 10 years, Turkey's leadership role regionally, specifically in the Muslim world, has increased dramatically. 10, 15 years ago, no one really cared what Turkey's policies were, to be honest, internationally speaking.
I know.
So that is something, but that is something that you have to accredit to the government.
No. We have supported the United States in Iraq.
That is something, but
Yeah.
you're talking about leadership role in the Muslim world.
What positive decision the Muslim world has taken, tell me, because of Turkey? One decision, tell me.
I mean, they would say that those supporters of Erdogan and the government will talk to the work that Turkey has done in Somalia. They will talk about the interference in Myanmar and the massacre of Rohingya Muslims.
Let me tell you this. Aid is different. I agree. Turkish government, I mean, when I criticize the Erdogan or Turkish government, I am not saying that they have not done anything. Of course, we agree that they have given a lot of support to Somalia. They have given aid to other countries, other places where the Muslims are suffering. I don't reject that. But the point is, this is just aid. This is not a policy which will bring the Muslim countries to stand up on their own feet.
Let's move back to domestic issues for a second. And Sunday's elections, they're not only for the presidency, they're also for the parliament. And now, while your collaboration with the CHP is only on the parliamentary election front, you are nominated as the candidates of your party for the presidency. The CHP, as I mentioned, have their own candidates, Muharrem Ince. Now, considering the Saadet Party failed to get even 10% of the votes in the last elections, the last parliamentary elections, that is, do you really think that you personally stand a chance of winning the presidency?
There are some rumors that certain tricks are prepared. We don't know what will happen. You know, when you take part in elections, you go there to win.